Good afternoon. In light of the recent events taking place in Minnesota, we wanted to take a moment to share our thoughts with all of you. First of all, as the leadership of the New York Conference, we want to express our profound sorrow and deep concern and our moral objection to the fatal shootings of Renee Good and Alex Peretti by federal agents in Minneapolis, as well as the treatment of individuals who are being held in detention centers across our country. We want to extend our heartfelt condolences to these families and to the community who is grieving this tragic loss of life. Friends, our prayers go out to our siblings in Minnesota who are frightened and those who are traumatized by the escalation of violence there. Our Christian faith compels us to begin with the affirmation that every person is created in the image of God. No badge, border, or bureaucratic mandate diminishes that sacred worth. So whenever a life is needlessly taken, the body of Christ is wounded and the conscience of our nation is tested. The New York Conference here, we join with civic leaders and faith partners across the nation in insisting on a full, impartial investigation into both of these killings. An investigation that honors truth and upholds the rule of law. And we're also calling for de-escalation of federal tactical operations in U.S. cities that continue to contribute to fear and division and unrest. As people of faith, we believe that any policy and any practice that disregards or risks human life, well, it's simply not aligned with the gospel imperative to love our neighbor and to protect the vulnerable.
We recognize the need to hear from leadership. I know I waited and anticipated the words coming from our national setting. And also we know that you have waited to hear from us, the leaders of the New York Conference. I know in my particular church, my congregation will always say, man, I needed to hear that today. I needed those words. We, the United Church of Christ, New York Conference, condemn recent murders by federal agents in Minneapolis, and we condemn the human conditions and treatment at detention centers, as well as recent deaths of people who have been detained by ICE. But at a time like this, we need more than words. We need to find ways that we can individually make a difference and collectively. Now, we can't tell you what kind of action to take, but we can provide resources and suggestions. Right now, the most urgent thing that I see is the upcoming vote in the Senate regarding funding for DHS, ICE, and CPB. Now, if you are someone who's opposed to their recent actions, I urge you to call or email your U.S. senators and ask them to vote no for the bill that provides funding for those agencies. If you're uncertain how to go about that, there's a great app that I have on my cell phone called 5 Stars. All you have to do is go to your download place and download it. There's a circle with 5 blue stars. You'll know you got the right app. And they provide the phone numbers for you, and they give you suggested script. You can select which issue that you're most concerned about. It doesn't have to be this particular one, but this is a place to start because they do count the calls that they get. If you end up getting having to leave a voicemail, leave it, but make sure you give them your address. That way your voice is counted. It will be counted. Phone calls make a difference. They do. Another thing you can do is go to indivisible.org. They have valuable resources and information across about banding together across the nation. They've got a great network already built. And their goal is to stop this authoritarian movement we're seeing in our government. Now, if there's not a local group where you are, And you can find that out easily. They have an interactive map. I would encourage you to start one. I guarantee that coming together at a time like this to give voice as a united group not only makes you feel stronger and no longer alone, it will encourage others. Now, if protests are not your thing, host a peace vigil on a regular basis. This past Sunday night, Marsha and I joined a webinar hosted by Faith in Action. There were faith leaders from across the country in all different denominations, and they joined together. And I found that extremely helpful. There was one really powerful witness that we heard from Minnesota. It was about a lot of local churches coming together to work together. These are churches, mind you, who once would not have joined forces because of theological differences. But they said those differences don't matter at a time like this. They're joining together to help the immigrants who no longer feel safe enough to leave their homes, to do something as simple as grocery shopping. They're taking food to them. So I'm asking you, is there anyone in your community that needs that kind of help? And what can you do?
Friends, we affirm our belief that love is stronger than fear, mercy stronger than violence. May the God who hears the cries of the oppressed move us beyond lament into faithful action until that time that peace and righteousness embrace. Thank you, and God bless.